Green, otherwise known as Granny Rocks.
And I'm James Maynard, otherwise known as Sweet Baby James.
And tonight I'm going to be talking about something that is very close to my heart at the moment. How do you react when you don't like the truth? So I was in the bathtub when this topic came to me, and I had no way of writing anything down. So I just made a few notes because I came up with all of this stuff, and that I'm sure I won't remember all of it, but maybe I'll remember some of it as we go along. I just want to tell you that we are taking comments and we can answer them because we are live, indeed. We hope we are.
Yes, indeed. It says so I believe we are.
Before I get into the topic itself, Sweet Baby James, do you want to say something?
Yes, you have come to Granny Rocks, where every week at this time, Wednesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, Granny shares with us her wisdom in a very uncommon sense about topics of the day, personal topics, societal topics, whatever seems to be relevant at the time. So, without further ado, here's Granny.
Well, I just want to say that I have no idea if this is, tell me if this is doing well on the broadcasting, because I picked one internet, but it's changed itself. So, good evening, great to see you, says Catalina. Catalina, is this looking as good or as bad as it normally does? Because I've put on the a different internet, and it countermanded me. So the nerve. So just let me know if this is coming across or not. So should I get started without even knowing how we're doing?
Yes, you should. It says we're live and we're transmitting. So yeah, let's go ahead.
Oh,
looks fine. Yes, says Elizabeth. Hello.
Tracy
yes.
said hello. Internet is good. Elizabeth said hello. Looks fine. Elizabeth said looks clearer. Well, darn. How do you like that? Well, I'm going to stop doing what I was doing. So, anyway, all right. And, Catalina says...
It looks better than last week.
You just never know. You just never know. This is the internet. We have so many forms of internet, and they all they fail on a regular basis.
We have virtual internet.
We do. We're just virtual. Yeni says, hi, I'm from Indonesia.
Oh, hello.
Well, hello, Yeni. I'm sure that you have the same issues in Indonesia that we have here. So, coming back to the topic, how do you react when you don't like the truth? Well, I would say that my favorite, just right off the bat, is I get angry and complain.
But wait a minute, that's my favorite.
Oh, no, you have another one.
Oh, I have another one.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, anger was my first reaction, but that might not be my most.
I don't think that's your best shot.
Okay.
But we'll get into that. So
I think I have a clue as to what it is.
Oh, okay. So yeah. Okay, so I get angry and complain. It's like I start fuming. And, somehow I think that getting angry is going to change something. Like reality is suddenly going to change. Like, we're looking for a place to live other than where we live now, because we're having so many problems, and, we're trying to find something that has more support and a residence, and this looks perfect, and then you get the details, and oh my God, there isn't one thing we can eat, and then there's this, and then there's, it's not really the size that you think it's going to be, and I just get angry and complain. And I want someone to change that reality.
I know what mine is.
Oh.
I go into victimhood. Why me, oh Lord? Why me?
Ooh, that's a good one. Anybody else do that? And I want you to be thinking about yourself as we're talking about this. Like, oh, yeah. See, I wonder what you do. Okay. Victimhood is always good. That is very connected to get angry and complain. However, I have another idea about you.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I do. Okay. Deny the realities and look for someone to validate your perspective. A friend, an expert. For example,
a political leader.
A political leader. Supposing you don't want to think that the coronavirus is that bad. Oh, Tracy said, I get depressed and overeat. Yes, that is very productive, Tracy. That is right in there along with ours. So, when you don't like the truth, you get depressed and overeat. But I guess that means you don't try to do something about it. Oh, I get up in arms and I try to do something about it, which doesn't help. So I'm glad that you're already joining in on the fun here. Okay, the one that I wanted to share with you, Susie James, is deny the reality and look for someone to validate your perspective, a friend, an expert, or something. I mean, isn't this the story of 2020? And
Oh my
people
God,
say,
yes.
I don't like the fact that the coronavirus is that contagious. So let's just deny it. And let's pretend that everything is okay and that we can just carry on like nothing happened. And then we'll find some expert who's going to validate what we're saying.
Especially if we pay them.
Oh, yeah. But even if we don't, because we can make them famous by promoting their misinformation in the misinformation campaign. So that is very common. So now here's another one. Are you liking these? Attack the person who has uncovered the truth for you. So let's say, well, if we were talking about the coronavirus, and we don't have to only talk about the coronavirus, and we can talk about our search for a home, or somebody searched for a partner in life, and you discover somebody, a friend of yours, says, "Didn't I see him or her at the movies with with another woman or another guy or something?" And you say, "Certainly not. What's the matter with you? He or she would never do that," right? So I think, and then you accuse them of bias. For example, let's say it's that example we were just talking about. Oh, they're so jealous. They just can't let me have my joy. No, they're just jealous, right? So, does that sound familiar to anybody? Accuse them of bias. Oh, it's a political game, right? You get to find out that the economy is actually in a shambles, and people are suffering and being evicted and losing their homes and all of that. But that's bias. I mean, that's fake news. That's trying to make somebody look bad, right? Or, you're on the other side. Let's say you're in the Biden spot and you don't want anybody to know about some skeleton in your closet, and then you have to say, well, they're biased, right? Now, another thing we can do is we can attack the person who has uncovered the truth by questioning their credentials. What do they know? They're not scientists, or they haven't, whatever. They don't know. So that's a good one, right? So then you just undercut what they're saying by undercutting them. Now, another option we have. I hope you're jotting these down so that if you're not doing it already, you have some new strategies. So, attack the person who delivers the message. Now, that is often me. Now, I'm going to try to refresh this page because I'm not getting any more. Oh no, I don't want to reload the site. God knows what's going to happen. Okay, hopefully there's nobody who's making more comments. Oh, wait. Siddhartha says hello. Now you see it showing up. Hello. Catalina says, I go inward and disconnect. Oh, that's a good one, Catalina. Just like la 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 la. That's a very good way of dealing with unfortunate realities. Congratulations. Okay, Siddhartha says, wow, in Indonesia, Kabupaten Kebumen. Kebumen. I have no idea what that says. Do you know that Facebook used to translate, but they don't translate anymore? And Todd just said hi and said, good topic,
Hi,
great. Oh, Todd says, I get angry and huff about. We have another one of our kind of people, right? Who get angry and huff about. Okay. So that's why they call it the Huffington Post.
Which you used to write for.
I used to write for.
You huff and puff.
So, oh, Elizabeth says, I get angry and complain. She's in my camp. So.
Oh, then Todd says, then I grumble and grunt.
Oh,
Grunt.
How mature, right? So now we're talking about attacking the person who delivers the message. Right? Okay, so supposing somebody tells you, well, in fact, that was the example that I gave before, that they saw your boyfriend at the drive-in with some other woman or man, and you say, "Oh my, so jealous," right? So that's you're questioning their motive. Or in a political situation, you're saying, "Oh, they're just trying to take my candidate down." Doesn't matter that he was caught red-handed with his hand in the. I was going to say something sort of lewd, but we'll call it the till, the piggy bank. But think of it with a sexual context. Debbie says hi, James and Beth. Hi, Debbie. So good to see you. So it's very effective. Jim says, I have found that denial is the best defensive mechanism ever. I love being in denial of many things. It keeps me sane and happy, Beth. You know, that is interesting because Catalina was saying that when she does that, she's disconnecting. Oh, Island says, I get angry at Trumpsters, but you don't get angry at the other side that may be telling fibs as well. Oh, no, because we have to pick and choose the reality that we want to listen to. And what am I doing here? I wanted to pull up a couple of more points. So focus on the bad motives of the person who's delivering the message. Now, here's another one. You might like this one if you haven't, adopted one of the others. Make the truth seem irrelevant. Yes, it's true, but so what? Yes, it may be true that there isn't one thing on the menu that we can eat. Maybe that's true, but who cares? Who needs to eat anyway, right? Or, I don't mind getting sick eating the right food. That's not going to, the wrong food. That's not going to hurt me, right? So, Island says lots of laughs. So, make the truth seem irrelevant. We don't need a big enough space for our stuff. We don't need a yard for our dogs. We don't need any of those things. We need what we want to need because we can afford it, or because it's there, or it makes it easy. So I'm not making, Island says, I take sides. Oh yes, don't we all? Take sides. Look for someone to validate our perspective. That goes back to some of the things we were talking about earlier. Now, making the truth seem irrelevant is really, really important. And that one leads to a very important one. Change the subject. Divert and deflect. For instance, have we noticed that the West has been burning up because of climate change? Right? Well, change the subject. But look at the stock market. The stock market is doing great. Or these people have jobs. Those jobs may be giving them black lung disease, but they have jobs, right? Change the subject. Divert and deflect. So, I love the fact that so many of our listeners have already been sharing which are their favorites. But now I'd like you to take a moment, take a breath, and you may have another one. I would like you to come out with anything that's coming to you that maybe I haven't even mentioned that you do when you don't like the answer. Oh, I forgot one. Blame. Just blame. Doesn't even matter what you're blaming them for, but just blame and get that pain out in the blame game. So I'm going to take a moment. And if anybody would like to come up with something, either that they want to talk about, that's their favorite, or come up with something different that I haven't even mentioned yet.
I have one.
Good.
If somebody says something that's true but I don't like it, I could try to negotiate the truth. I could say, well, maybe that's true, but what about this? Or aren't there exceptions to that? Let's talk about exceptions to the rule, etc., etc.
Oh, I'm glad you said that, because that was one of, Island says, point fingers. That's it. I love that. Point fingers. You ever notice that when you point a finger, it's kind of exposed. Somebody could cut it off. But anyway. Yeah. Yeah. What did you just say, James?
I negotiate.
Oh, you negotiate, yes. You are the exception to the rule, and I will explain one of those. For instance, let's say we all know that we need to recycle, or we need to cut back on the utilization of fossil fuel or power or whatever it is. But you see, you have to understand. It can't apply to me. I'm too old. I can't do it. Now, everybody else needs to do it. Now, Jim said, oh, Beth, you would be a wonderful philosophy professor. I agree. Jim, why don't you nominate me for some position? I would love to work for a university and get paid for what I come up with. I think that would be really good. And then we could afford to get what we need, and we wouldn't be scrounging around trying to find something that we can afford that isn't going to work for us, or that may work for us, that we don't even want to admit. So I'm with you. Please go out there, Jim. Find that for me. I'm open. This is what philosophy should be about, right? Reality.
Really?
Anyone else want to share their favorite, whether I've mentioned it or not? Oh, Jim says, I nominate you. Absolutely. Excellent. Excellent. Now, Jim, you don't have any clout, do you? Island says, for sure. I love that. Why are all my fans poor, powerless? You know, we're still waiting for some incredibly wealthy donor to come in and swoop us up.
Yeah, and sponsor the show.
Sponsor the show. Sponsor us. Oh, Island said, good teacher. Oh.
You are.
Now, that makes me feel good. That really does. Who needs money when you have flattery?
Yeah. Well, you know, next best to denial is minimization.
Exactly.
It's not so bad.
It's not so bad. Well, that's
not
what
as
I'm
bad
saying.
as all that.
Exactly.
I still got it.
That's right. That's right. That's right. It's not as bad as all of that. That's the story of the 21st century. It's not as bad as all. Or
I'd like to think so.
It's someone else's fault that that's happening. It can't be that the economic system doesn't work equitably. Oh no, it's got to be because people are not working hard or raising themselves by their bootstraps or any of those things. Anything else that people would like to share before I start wrapping things up for tonight? Are people laughing at themselves, I hope? Yes, I can hear it through the ethers. People are laughing. Now, the trick is to laugh while we're doing it instead of taking it seriously. Don't believe your own nonsense. Really look honestly. Don't justify. sometimes we do have to make compromises even though we don't want to. But let's admit at least that that's what we're doing. Let's stop pretending that things are different from where they are. Let's look for support to make things better.
Alan says laugh.
Todd
says yes, laughing.
Excellent. Yes.
Yeah.
Eileen said laugh, and she said yes.
Yeah, just earlier today I caught myself in one of those patterns, and I said, oh, wait a minute, I've done that before. And I started laughing.
So speaking of that, which one did you exhibit today when we were talking to these people about this resonance, about whether or not...
I was trying to minimize the negatives and maximize the positives and be in denial about the reality. And then I caught myself and noticed, wait a minute, I have a pattern of doing that.
Exactly.
And then I started laughing at myself.
Good. So Eileen said, what the hell is real? I'll tell you what I think real is. Real is what's left after you stop rationalizing and kidding yourself. You know, it's yes. If you are careless, you're more likely to either catch or spread the coronavirus, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Real is if you get high instead of working for a living, you will probably go down the tubes financially,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because after you get rid of all the rationalizations about how important what you're doing is and how you are not one of those people who's bound by all the realities, and then you find that you're on the street because you haven't paid your rent, that's real. So when all the nonsense falls away, Eileen is smiling and the eyeballs are bulging. So please come back every week. Now, please like this show, love this show, comment. I can always answer your comments later because we have a meeting, a video conference after the show, but I will come back and answer comments that come in later. And think about this. Really look at yourself and see if we can't make one step. Eileen said that's true. Yeah, one step towards self-honesty. Sometimes I have to accept things that I don't like, but I don't want to kid myself. So come back every Wednesday night at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time when we broadcast Granny Rock's live stream, and every Thursday night at 7 p.m. when we broadcast Dreams of Peace, where hopefully we go into a state of consciousness which elevates us and helps us to, in fact, deal with reality in a sane way. Wouldn't that be great? And I wish for you that well-being that lets us look at reality. Jim said, real is Beth. Honest, sincere, brilliant, and loving. Love you both. Piano tomorrow night. All the best to you. Thank you,
You
Jim.
put a love before love. Piano tomorrow night.
I'm going to record the piano because we can't live stream the piano. I'm going to record the piano, and our friend Todd is going to live stream at 7 o'clock p.m. and Sweet Baby James and I will be here, and we will be able to chat with you while I'm playing. And don't you think that's pretty remarkable?
Amazing.
So you keep coming back and share and share and share and share, because people need to know the truth. And if they don't like the fact that you shared it, then they are attacking the one who's offering the truth to them. Do it anyway. I wish you well. I wish for you well-being and peace, said Jim. Thank you. And the same to you. See you next
Okay,
time.
bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.